weekly virtual town hall meeting. I want to say hello to all those who are out there on our Facebook page, on YouTube. Thank you for joining us again for the 29th week of our COVID update, and also an update on some of the things that we are doing right here in the city of East Orange. I am so honored this evening that all of you are joining us. We have a great panel tonight. Tonight we have with us our Chief of Police, Chief Phyllis Bendy. We also have with us Melody Scott, who works under the Mayor's office, and a gentleman who really doesn't need an introduction, who makes sure we stay healthy, and that's Victor Coute, who has been with us all along since this COVID, and we thank all of the panel for being here tonight. With that, I just want to go over some numbers that we have for COVID-19 as of today. October the 8th, we have confirmed 2,129 positive cases and 230 confirmed deaths. Here is the ward breakdown. Just want to give you the ward breakdown very quickly. The first ward, we have 348 cases. Second ward, we have 405 cases. Third ward, we have 498 cases. Fourth ward, 484 cases. And in the fifth ward, we have 479 cases. In Essex County alone, there are 21,520 cases and 1,900 resulted in deaths. In New Jersey, the positive cases are 2011, 148 cases and 14,373 resulted in deaths. So again, with those numbers that we just gave a few minutes ago, we still have to remain vigilant. We still have to continue to practice social distance. We still have to continue to make sure we wash our hands for 20 seconds. It's so critical. And just a reminder of folks who are going into the stores, and again, as we open up, we still have to make sure at the stores that you go into that folks have on the mask, making sure folks are sanitizing the establishment. If you walk into a beauty salon or a barber shop or a hair salon, whatever you walk into, a supply store or a food store, what we're asking you is please give us a call and allow us to go to that store owner and tell them that they cannot serve people if they're not in the proper face mask or not sanitizing. So with that, East Orange, we need your help. We need your eyes, we need your ears, and if you have any questions, please call our health office, and Victor Cote will be talking about some of those things in a later part of our meeting, but those things are important. Also, before we start with our panel, we want to make sure that all of you are aware of some of the things that we're going to be doing with some of the activities. So with that, again, I want to say hello again to the panel tonight, and we're going to get started with our chief. So, Chief Bendy, welcome to our COVID-19 update, which we have weekly. You have been on here once, and you did a very good job. So, if you don't mind, Chief, just give folks a little background about yourself, and I have some questions, and we're going to go on Facebook to see who also have some questions that folks are joining us tonight and making sure that they get their answers answered. Let me give you a number also. If you want to call in, please go to 857-799-9641.
Mayor, let me just interject. If you are on the call right now, can you please mute your phone?
Oh, okay, all right. Hey, East Orange, I need y'all help. If you're on my line, please mute your phones, please. We can hear everything you're talking about. And I know you don't want people to hear all your business, right? So those on our line, we're asking you to please mute your phones, all right? We really appreciate it, and just having consideration for everybody else who are listening on the line. We thank you very much, East Orange. So again, with that, we're going to go right over to our Chief Bindi, because tonight we're going to talk about public safety, we're going to talk about health, we're going to talk about parking, we're going to talk about overnight parking, parking during the day, we're going to talk about speeding. So many people who have been calling in and asking questions. So tonight is a great opportunity to hear what our initiatives are in terms of some of the topics that we'll be talking about tonight with our panel. So again, Chief Bindi, how you doing?
Doing well, Mayor. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. Again, you know, we are in October now. We're coming up on our colder months. Mayor, you've been doing an excellent job with transparency. 29 weeks strong here. I have been on, yes, once or twice. You are correct. Glad. Thank you for having me back on again. Again, what we boast about most here in our city is transparency, Mayor, as you know, and public safety is your #1 mission, along with your administration and our public safety chair, Councilwoman Lewis. With that being said, I give you an overall of our crime right now, to date, as of right now, this minute. We are down 14% decrease in overall crime and 7.5% decrease in violent crime in our city. Keeping in mind, we are up against unparalleled reductions that we've had in the past 2 years under your administration, sir, that you taxed us with, which was the lowest crime since 1967, 2 years ago, and respectively lower last year than 1967. We are continuing to go in the right direction. Of course, there are always room for improvement. What our biggest problem here right now that we're facing is car breaks and package thefts. So this is an excellent time to talk about this with the Black Friday coming up, shopping online, and everyone's still shopping online even though the malls are open. Amazon is seeing an increase in online shopping. With that being said, more and more houses are having packages come to their home. We do hand out proactive prevention flyers. We encourage you to read each and every piece of it with regard to package theft and car breaks and keeping your car secure and locked and closed. So with that being said, we do offer, again, a plethora of ways to stop this crime, but your eyes and ears, along with our eyes and ears and our technology in this city are what's going to get us there.
Thank you, Chief, very much. And with that, it brings me right into a conversation about, even though you gave an overview on where we at, the lowest crime since 1967, just give everyone just an overview of what is our crime plan in terms of overall. And you could talk about speed, and you could talk about, you just talked about theft and the holidays going to come up, what to do, but give everyone an overview of where we at in terms of our crime.
Okay, so, you know, maximizing the department's effectiveness at reducing crime, of course, is our #1 goal. We are laser focused on that. We have our analysis that is in real time. We utilize intelligence-led policing along with boots on the ground. With that being said, we'll talk about speeding first, because it is the point of contention for all the wards, for everyone. I think even people outside of the city talks about speeding here. We do, as you know, have signs posted, radar slowdowns. We do have them around the city, and we do move them and the message boards as needed. With that being said, we also have a coordinated traffic enforcement to coincide with the hours of heightened our community concerns. So that means the hour, the time, the date, you call it in, we track it, we map it, and for license plate recognition, we continue to have that. We have radar enforcement, safety checkpoints that are strategically established during targeted days and affected hours. What does that mean? In your area, let's just use, today I got a phone call for Elmwood and Harrison. We repurposed a speeding radar sign over there. And what that is in reaction to citizens' complaints and the councilman being on top of things and calling us and letting us know. So we placed that slowdown there. That enforcement will be strategically placed there. We will monitor it. We will also bolster that enforcement with physical enforcement of engagement with the cars out there doing radar and traffic slowdowns. We recently re-engaged our ICANN, which is our interactive community network. As you know, we are the leaders in technology, Mayor, you already know that. With this, you can sign up online. I know Connie Jackson, she has placed that on our website for us. You also can reach out to Y Johnson, NJ at njeopd.com to sign up with her. This helps us have more eyes and ears in the community. Okay, you can take a snapshot of something you're looking at if we are not in your particular area at that point in time. Also, please be mindful with the double parking when you call that in, and or speeding, and or persons crossing against the traffic in the crosswalks. We've had a lot of pedestrian strucks. So what we're doing with that is we join with the Sheriff's Department in doing cops in the crosswalk. What that is we place officers in the crosswalk, and if you are caught not adhering to the rules and regulations of the road, in Title 39, you will be summoned. Okay, that is for the person crossing and the vehicle.
Yes.
So just keep that in mind as well, because we do find infractions on both ends as we are moving through the city. Our real-time crime prevention center that we've had for years, we continue to upgrade the technology and that. Thank you, sir, for that, and your administration for that. We are strategically optimizing the utilization of this center to assist us with our eyes around the city. As I was getting into, we are able to write summonses from that center. So you may not see the officer there for the double parked car, but behold that they are receiving a summons in the mail from that RTCPC center. They take a snapshot of the plate, write the summons out accordingly, and move right along to the next area.
Right, and Chief, thank you for that, because I know that we meet weekly with you and the director, and I know that folks in our community has been really concerned about the speed, and so I really want folks to know, you just heard from our chief, and we're going to take a very, 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 very aggressive role, aggressive initiative in this community for those who are violating, speeding through these streets of East Orange. And I don't want to hear when you start getting these speeding tickets, because speeding tickets, they're violations, and also there could be points on your license. But I don't want to hear nobody when we start slowing people down and we have operation out there and you start getting these tickets because you just heard the chief. We're not going to tolerate that. It's dangerous to our community to be flying through these streets each and every day. And all of you know who you are when you're flying. You know who you are. So with that, Chief, right, I want to kind of go into, because you talked about Lieutenant Johnson, right?
Yes.
And Lieutenant Johnson deals with community relations.
Absolutely.
What plan do we have in place under our youth program to combat gang violence in our community? Right?
Okay, we have several things in place in curbing the youth and gang violence in our city, which is tremendously and dramatically reduced in the past 15 years, specifically in the past 2 years. We continuously monitor social media. As you know, the youth today, that is literally all they use to communicate with each other. We stay ahead of any beef or argument between sects in and out of our city and across borders that may arise. Our investigations have led to curtail these crimes at hand. We have detectives partnered up with the DEA and the FBI, also the ATF, to bolster our investigations and further eliminate the offenders in these areas. Now, as far as Lieutenant Johnson and our community service, we have community wellness surveys. They are also available on our city website, and more importantly, they're handed out throughout the community from our officers. So you get a chance to be face-to-face with the officer instead of, other than a police encounter, it's a different look, a different feel when they come upon you with this community wellness survey. I ask you, please be truthful with them, because real truths that are addressed create transparency, and they continue to bolster our relationship with our community. Our community relations unit attends and hosts events throughout. Again, this is pre-COVID. We will be getting back to it. We did have a couple of Zooms, but when we are full-on force without COVID, we had bike patrol. We continue to have bike patrol this year. The bike patrol was in the parks with all the camps. Weather permitting, we do have walking posts. When we don't have the walking posts because of the weather, we have something called a park and walk. The officer is sent to an area, a directed area, a target area, to park the vehicle, stop the car, get out, walk around the community, and engage in the community,
Right.
whether it be a community wellness survey or a prevention flyer.
Right.
We have vertical patrols in the buildings where they can come in contact with citizens, garner information, and/or intel about the community. Again, boots on the ground and in presence. This gives
Right.
us a chance to come in better contact with our community other than a police encounter.
Right, Chief, with that, let's talk about, I just want to go back a little
Sure.
bit. With the community service program that Lieutenant Johnson spearheads, and we know kids and youth can get in a little trouble. What programs do we have in terms of safe haven program
Excellent.
for our young people? You know, this COVID kind of took us a little back, but what programs are offered for our youth who are doing well and at risk youth also?
Okay, so doing well and at risk, or just teetering on that fence, if you will. It's challenging in COVID times, again, I will mention that, but when we are at full force, we have a girls and boys mentorship program. We have special guests there, different professionals, whether they're professional football players, basketball players, the prosecutor himself, people from the prosecutor's office. They come here and they talk about different things that definitely relate to the youth and that are relatable to the youth. We do something called the juvenile diversion. We are definitely engaged in this. What that is we utilize curbside adjustment and station house adjustment for the reason of not to just send someone to jail if they commit a minor crime. Okay? So what happens here is the responding officer then gets with the parents and the guardian or guardians of the juveniles, and they're also called to interact with the victim.
Right, yes.
Yes, and thank you for that. So again, I just want to ask all our callers that's on the telephone, can you please mute your telephone because we can hear your conversation? We just asking you, please to mute your telephones. We really would appreciate it. We thank you for that. And sorry about that, Chief.
Oh, no worries, no
Right.
worries.
Right.
Just continuing on, we have our junior police explorers. They're assisting currently and all throughout
Right.
COVID. Just give them a hand for distributing food throughout our food banks throughout the city.
Right.
And again, this is all just to name a few, but I will put them out there. Our Public Safety Youth Academy, we have numerous PAL programs within our overall PAL program. The officers assist with homework, job search, resume prep, getting prepared for the prom, graduation. We have a domestic violence response team. We have a large drug awareness program, the LEAD program that is in the schools that our officers were actually trained in, which is unique to this city. And they also teach along with the teachers there and the instructors. ADAPT, we are partners in the ADAPT program, the alcohol and drug abuse treatment, which is prevention for the youth and keeping them out of that system. Gang awareness, and that is for parents and the youth because they both need to be kept abreast of what's going on, the signs if their son or daughter is being involved in a gang,
Right.
so they can call us and we can get on it right away. We have homelessness for the youth and of course adults, and we offer a service to runaway youth.
Okay, and thank you for that, Chief. And I'm going to bounce over to Melody Scott, who is spearheading our parking, because as we talk about speeding, we want to just kind of talk about this 1,000-pound elephant that has been really on our table way before Mayor Ted Green got into office. But one thing about the parking situation here in the city of East Orange, you know, we took a strong initiative to make sure that we tackled the problem. You know, this is a 20-year problem, probably longer than that. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we bring some alleviance to the situation. So what I want to do, I want to give Melody Scott an opportunity to talk about the parking situation, because I know that we get calls every day for this overnight parking, during the day parking. So we're gonna let Melanie Scott talk about the parking. And also I'm asking everyone that's on our Facebook Live, if you're on our social media, please listen to what the rules are, the days of parking, alternate street side of the street parking. Melanie's gonna kind of get into all of that, and then Chief, we'll bounce back to you and our health officer. So Melanie Scott, thank you for being here, but more so, just give people just a little small background about yourself, and then just go right into the parking situation. What's the rules, what days, what they need to do, and just so people can really know what we're doing in terms of the parking.
All right. Good evening, East Orange. Thank you, Mayor Green, for the opportunity to be here tonight to talk about the parking initiatives. We have been working on this parking initiative for the last year and a half, and we've made several new changes, regarding the overnight parking as well as the daytime parking. So there was two goals. We were trying to do two things. We wanted to eliminate cars off the street that didn't necessarily need to be there, as well as get our streets clean. And so in the middle of doing that, we began to have community meetings. We wanted to engage the community to find out where the cars were at, that we needed to move cars, get the streets clean. So we began with that. We went door to door talking to folks, making sure that we weren't just implementing something that was not good for the community. So with that, we came up with a lot of streets that were thoroughfares: Prospect, Wham, North Clinton, Arlington Avenue, Munn Avenue, streets that you were normally not able to park on overnight if they weren't permitted streets. So this way, people that lived in buildings on Arlington and Munn and Wham and all of these streets where there was a huge amount of cars on the streets, where they really didn't have anywhere to park. So we changed the street sweeping from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So a lot of these streets, Monday through Friday, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., you cannot park. That's Prospect Street, from William Street to the Bloomfield border. That's William Street. That's North Clinton Street, from William Street to Springdale Avenue. That's North Munn Avenue, South Munn Avenue, Chestnut Street, Carnegie. We turned Amherst into a one-way street, so that would allow for people to be able to park overnight on both sides of that street. So there's a lot of Carnegie Avenue. There's a lot of streets that have new permit signs up. The street signs, pay attention to them. Carnegie Avenue and Chestnut has been confusing for a lot of people because they're what we call accept streets. Historically, you could not park on either side, on both sides of them streets at the same time. And we did that because we realized that if there was an emergency, our emergency vehicles did not have an opportunity to get through the streets. So we wanted to be safe. So we took away the parking on both sides of the street, but we did do an accept. So on Carnegie and on Chestnut and on Washington Terrace, the signs do read Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, no parking, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on one side of the street. On the opposite side of the street, the signs say parking only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. So that's the only time you're able to park on them sides of the street. So you have to read the street signs, and so this way people will not be getting tickets. And then the street sweeping, the overnight, the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. That's all through the city. You see signs that say Tuesday and Thursday, no parking, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. The other side of the street is Monday and Wednesday, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. You cannot park on that side of the street. And we're asking people to read the sign so that you can move your car, so that we can get the street sweepers through. We get a lot of calls, and people are complaining about their street sweepers only being able to ride through the middle of the street. So we're trying to stop that. We want people to be able to get their streets clean, and we also want you to have safe and secure parking. So it's twofold. So we need you to read the signs. We have a list of the signs on the website. It's also on the East Orange Parking Authority on streets that you can park on. I'll also talk a little bit about permits. Right now, we are not enforcing permit parking. So you do not need a permit to park. We just ask that you park on the correct side. In November and December, we are asking people to go and apply on the East Orange Parking Authority's website for a permit. The parking fees will be waived. We, however, need you to put in all your information, just as you would do if you were trying to get a permit. And this way, we want to know what cars are parked on the street. So if you're an East Orange resident and you have a permit in your car, starting in November and December, we will know that you've done everything that you needed to do to get a permit and that you are an East Orange resident. And this helps with cars that's parked on the streets for long periods of time. They're not being moved. They're not necessarily East Orange residents. And they're just staying there, and we can't get these cars moved. So this will allow us to, ticket these particular cars and if necessarily tow the cars. However, the mayor is not on a ticket blitz, and we are asking people. We've done everything. We've given warnings out. We've been out to the community. I've personally been on every street that's been changed to have conversations with residents, just trying to make clear that people understand, the goal. And the goal is to get the streets clean as well as provide safe and secure parking for our residents. So there's a lot of information. A lot of street signs have been changed. We're continuously, upgrading the permit signs. So if anybody, if you don't know whether or not there's permitted parking on your street, you can always call the mayor's office. Everybody in the mayor's office is versed on streets that allow for permit parking versus the streets that do not allow for permit parking, and can give you that information. You can also call me. I'll give my phone number out, my email address. If you have any questions, whether or not your street is a permitted parking street, or whether or not you received a ticket and you didn't think the ticket was unjust. So there's a lot to the parking, but we just want to make sure that we're providing safe parking for the residents, and that people actually have a place to park, and people with permits can actually park in their city.
Right, and really thank you for that. Give out the phone number where people can call if they have any questions or any concerns in reference to the parking. Give them your number and give people your email, Melody.
Okay, my number is 973-266-5151, and my extension is 5355. My email address is melody, MELODY, .Scott, SCOTT, at eastorange-nj.gov. You can feel free to call me. You can also call the Parking Authority if you have questions about permits and the way that you go online and fill out the permit.
Can you give people a Parking Authority telephone number? Do you have it?
Yes, it's 973-672-1116. And you can ask for Tracy. She works directly with us in the mayor's office. She's at the Parking Authority, but we've been working directly with them so that we can have something, that, both of us are working on together. So if there's any questions, that we can both answer them.
Right, give them the permit process one more time in terms of what we're expecting in terms of the permits.
Okay, so starting November, we would like for people who live on streets that allow for permit parking to go on the website for the East Orange Parking Authority and complete the application. If you live in a building, you will need an affidavit from your landlord. You will also need a copy of your driver's license and your registration and insurance to prove that you live at this particular residence. And once you do that, the Parking Authority will then mail you a permit that will go in your car. The permits we changed last year to make them ward specific. So if you live in the first ward, your permit will have a number 1. If you live on the second ward, your permit will have a number 2. So people that live in the first ward will be parking in the first ward. We are calling it residential parking permit. The second ward, the third ward, and this will be for every ward. If you are bordering a ward where you live on 4th and 5th, one across the street may be the 5th ward. On one side, the 4th ward, your parking permit will say 4 and 5. Again, the fees for November and December are being waived, so you do not have to pay for a permit during that time.
And Melody, thank you for that. Listen, Melody, well, Miss Scott, I'm gonna say Miss Scott because we call the chief. But Miss Scott explained to everyone, again, we're not on a ticket blitz. what we're on is that we want to keep our community, our streets, our sidewalks clean like any other neighborhood. I'm going to make that clear. We want to keep our streets here in the city of East Orange clean and free of litter and garbage. So we're asking all of you, Ms. Scott gave out all the information. Again, if you're on our Facebook page, we're going to be answering some questions, but we're asking all of you to help us to help you by following all the rules of the parking, right? Because during the COVID, we had to back up because we was very sensitive of all our residents, making sure we had somewhere to park. But again, out of 25 weeks, 26 weeks, our streets start getting really filthy and garbage, and litter. So we got to make sure we keep our streets clear. So also, Melody, talk to people about the signs. How do the signs look? Because when we started this, there was old signs put up that was already up. Then we came in, we put up new signs. What should our residents look for when it comes to our signs, the new signs that we put up?
Okay, so we are putting up, we're going through the entire city, changing a lot of the signs. A lot of the signs at some point was confusing for people, so we understood that. And so we took an approach where we created the new parking permit sign. So now it is clear. It will say permit parking only on Monday, Wednesday, Friday between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. On the opposite side of the street, it will say the exact same thing. Permit parking only Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. The street signs for the 9 to 12, the streets that allow for alternate side of the street parking, say alternate side of the street parking, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. All daytime street sweeping is from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. No other time during the day are we doing street sweeping. So you see the signs are red and white. They say, no parking Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Again, the except signs say that. They say no parking except Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 9 a.m. and 12 p.m. And that's only on 3 streets. That's on Carnegie, that's on Chestnut, and that's on Washington Terrace. And so if you have a permit sign on your street, and it also over top of it says no parking between 2 a.m., 6 a.m., Tuesday and Thursday, it doesn't matter that you have a permit. You still cannot park on that side of the street. You still have to follow the street signs. So a lot of people believe because they have a permit that gives them the right to just park on either side of the street. Unfortunately, that's not what the permit is for. The permit just simply means that you paid for a permit to park overnight, but you still have to follow the overnight street sweeping signs that's out there. And again, like the mayor said, pre-pandemic, we were really making an impact. You could ride down some of the streets during the day, they would be clear, the streets would be clean. And after we got into the pandemic, we realized that a lot of people were working from home and that people weren't moving. So we suspended the parking rules and regulations up until about August. And so we realized that it's hard for people that's, still working from home. But we also want people to understand that, we want our streets back being clean. At some point, East Orange was the cleanest city in the country. And if we never get back to that, we want to get somewhere remotely close to that. We don't want people, feeling like it's okay to toss garbage out in the street. We don't want to do all that. We want the streets clean because these guys right now that's out there working this 9 to 12, they're doing their best to try to get the streets clean. We have the litter crew out. If there's a bunch of litter and garbage out, we ask them to come out and get it. If it's stuff that the street sweepers just can't get and have to be picked up, we ask the litter crew to come out and assist us. And if you, for some reason, believe that your street is getting missed, call me. We will set something up. We will work with Public Works to make sure that we get your streets clean. However, we don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. So we're asking people, work with us, call us, find out whether or not your street is a permit parking street. Find out whether or not we changed some rules on your street. Find out whether or not, there's something that you can do on your end. Like the terraces, they have a block association. So we have a direct impact right now. We're working with the police department at night to make sure that them streets over there that don't allow for parking at all overnight, there's no parking. And it's for two reasons. We want to be able to clean the street, and that area is also concerned about, they don't want to come home and there's foreign cars parked in front of their house. They want to know from a safety perspective, who's parked here. You know, we're not necessarily used to cars just being parked there, so we want to know. So if there's block associations out there and you're interested in finding out how you can help us, please call me. Again, my phone number is 973-266-5151, extension 5355.
Right. Thank you very much, Melody, for all that information. What I want to do, and I'm going to bounce around, I just want to, just for a few minutes, make sure that we hear from our health officer. So I'm going to bounce to Vic. Like I said earlier, we've been going through this COVID-19, this pandemic, and I know that we are not out of the woods yet. I just want our health officer to talk about a few things, just very briefly. I want him to talk about, because when we talk about safetiness and we talk about cleanness, we also have to stay mindful of our stores and our establishments that are here in the city of East Orange. Then we're going to go through some of the questions that folks are asking on our Facebook page. So I'm going to flip over to our health officer, Victor Coute. And Vic, just give us an overview of where we at in terms of the stores. What's important for these stores to not get lapsed and allow people to come in these stores and not having masks on, not sanitizing. Because you know, we the first few weeks of this COVID, it was mandated, which is still is mandated, right? What should people be doing? And then also just talk again about the flu and the COVID season that we're in right now.
Thank you, Leo. Firstly, I'm going to start with the retail food stores. It's very, very important that we maintain the guidelines of ensuring that the staff of our retail food stores, as well as the clients, put on face masks and also observe the social distancing of 6 feet whenever they are inside the stores. Also, we expect that every cashier would have a physical barrier, plexiglass, preferably, between them and the customers. We also are encouraging our retail food stores to move from using cash to credit cards and things that do not require physical touching or physical contact. These are the ways by which COVID is transmitted. Also, for our head braiding salons, nail salons, barber shops, we are also recommending that they have barriers between each chair that they have in their stores, so as to separate one client from the other. And also, we are also encouraging that the stores keep the main doors open. We know that it's getting colder. Put on the fans, or have some air movement in your store. All that helps to dissipate the spread of COVID.
Yeah.
Also, we're asking that it's very, very important that the stores ensure that their refuse dump, their dumpsters are clean and all the time, because this is the way we breed rodents and roaches into the stores. And if we do not clean the surroundings, the rodents and roaches will come in there and they will try to feed on them and they get into the stores. These are very, very important precautions that we can take. We also appeal to residents, if they are putting trash on sidewalks, you should have them covered, have a lid. Sometimes, and if you're going to put them in trash bags, ensure that you put them out just before the collection. leaving them outside there for prolonged periods ensures that cats, raccoons, rodents eat through those bags and spill the garbage on the streets. And then rodents would come again and infest the whole neighborhood. We have been conducting inspections for our retail food stores, regular retail inspections, and at the same time we'll be ensuring that all these guidelines are enforced. We're going to resume inspecting the cafeterias in the schools in preparation for school reopening. Also, we are looking around the city of East Orange. We've been working with our nursing homes. So far, we are impressed with what's going on with our nursing homes at this time. We have not had any outbreaks in over a month. I think it's about 2 months now that the last outbreak took place. And we're very happy that they are, they're becoming safer and safer, and they are doing their best to keep it that way. And the residents have not, we have not reported any positive cases amongst them. I will talk about the flu vaccine. This is flu season. The flu vaccine, it's no longer a choice. It's very, very necessary. It's imperative that you get a flu shot. And the reasons are the following. Firstly, it's possible for you to be infected with flu and COVID at the same time. And mind you, both of these infections are respiratory infections. You don't want to have two viruses attacking your lungs at the same time. There is also the possibility that one virus could make the other infection worse. And that is not a good thing for even a healthy person, not to talk of someone who is not completely healthy.
Yes.
So we are asking that you get your flu shots. It's also going to help the physician. If you have, say, symptoms of flu, and you go to your private provider, if you already have the flu vaccine, he is more likely to begin to focus on COVID rather than flu, because he knows your flu is not going to get worse with the flu vaccine. But if you have COVID plus the flu, then he can treat the COVID quickly and know that you would recover from that illness. We are appealing to everyone to please, if you are uninsured, you can call the health department. We can make arrangements for you to get your flu shot. Also, we are especially appealing to our seniors to please get vaccinated for influenza. Influenza also is important for our children. We know that, yes, there are data out there that say that COVID does not affect children. I mean, it affects children, but not as severe as adults. But then flu does the opposite. Flu is very dangerous for children. And so please ensure that your kids 6 months and above get their flu shot. And also ensure that there are updates on their regular vaccines, because it's also known that as you get your regular vaccines, you are building your body's immune system to be able to cope with other diseases that might attack that body. So it's important that they get their regular shots and also keep healthy. Please ensure that your children, if they are above 2 years old, have a face mask on. Also, they maintain social distancing. We're coming very soon to the Halloween period. Our kids will be going out, for trick and treat. Please ensure that they have a mask on, and that they do not, that they avoid strangers that they are not used to. Let them go in groups, family groups, very close family groups. And also we implore our residents, please package your goodies, your candies, and leave them in small packages that the kids can pick up singly, rather than putting them in a bowl where everybody has to put their hands into. Please, we're asking that you work with us to keep our community safe and also prevent infection with COVID.
Right. So, Vic, thank you so much for that information. Just very quickly, I do want to talk about, because as Melody talked about parking and keeping our streets clean, right? Our chief talked about public safety, but there are several and a number of people always talk about rodents in our community, right? And I quite often say that we can prevent that, right? By making sure, you talked about the garbage, right? When you sit the garbage out under the code enforcement, you cannot sit garbage out just with a regular bag. You must have a garbage can. You must put a lid over the garbage can. So Vic, just touch a little on how this rodent problem sometimes occur and accumulates here in the city. And what, when people call your office, what do y'all have to do to go out to make sure that the infestation in terms of the rodents that people are calling about?
Thank you, Mayor. Rodent infestations have to do with just two conditions that have to be met. First one is the source of food. The other is water. If they have a source of food and water, and of course we want to add just a third pathway, somewhere to hide. If they have those three things, you would definitely get an infestation. And why is that important? It's important because a lot of times when we throw scraps of food out in trash cans, or we just eating and walking down the street and we drop them on the ground, or we allow our refuse dump or dumpsters to overflow and spill onto the ground, all we are doing is creating a breeding ground for rodent infestation and roaches. And we want to avoid that. Let's not forget that rodents themselves can carry disease. Also, roaches can carry disease. Not just the it's not just the unsightly nature of having rodents around your homes, but they can carry disease. And it's very important that we work hard with our staff, or the staff of East Orange Department of Public Works, as they go about doing their, their work, their duties, to work on, play our own part in preventing rodent infestation. Also, if you have abandoned homes around your property, please call us. We might be able to bait those properties to prevent rodent infestation. If you have overgrown weed on vacant lots, please, you can call. We might be able to help out with that. If it's a city-owned property, we would bait it. If it's not city-owned, we can reach out to the owners of those lots and have them do the right thing. Cut the overgrown weed and also bait the property.
Right. Thank you so much for that. So what I want to do, I want to go to those folks who are now on our Facebook page. I just want to remind everyone, if you're on the phone line, we ask you to be considerate of those who are on the phone lines, and please mute your telephone. Please mute your telephone. And you don't want everybody to hear your entire conversation. So we're asking everybody that's on our phone lines, come on, East Orange, let's have some courtesy to one another, so everyone can get the information and hear the information, and that way we know how to go about making sure that we are abiding by the information that has been provided. So I'm going to go to Connie and ask Connie to give me a few Facebook questions. So to the panel, if that question pertains to you, we're just asking you to, just elaborate on what the person is asking, just for less than a minute.
Okay, I have several questions from Melody staff related to parking, and this one question was asked by several of our residents. Is it possible for residents who paid for permits for this year, 2020, to receive a refund or get a discount, or perhaps the money could be applied towards next year?
Well, that's a great question, and yes, there is a proposed plan right now that we are working on. And for people, if you've already paid for a permit for 2020 and did not have the opportunity to use that permit, then we ask that you call. You can call me in City Hall tomorrow. You can send me an email, there is a plan that in 2021, that the mayor is trying to make these people whole. We're not trying to have people pay for permits in 2020 and that they did not have the opportunity to use them. So yes, there is a plan that's in the works. I don't want to get in front of it, so people can call me tomorrow. I can give you a little more information. You can email me and I'll get back to you when the plan is actually going to be implemented. But yes, we have considered that, and we do not want people to feel like they spent $150 in 2020 and it was a waste. So yes, there is a plan for that.
Melody, give that, again, I know I've been saying this all the time when I'm meeting, but give your phone number out again and give that email out, and so people will know where they gotta call at in terms of the information that you just provided.
Okay, again, my name is Melody Scott. My phone number is 973-266-5151, extension 5355. And my email address is melody, MELODY, .scott, SCOTT, at eastorange-NJ.gov. And please just, send me a copy of your permit, your information, and I'll definitely get back to you and let you know what the proposed plan is and how we can help you for 2021.
Right.
And Melody, you mentioned it in your response, but can you please repeat? Shirley Robinson Johnson would like to know, what is the cost of an annual parking permit?
The permit cost right now is $150 for the entire year.
Okay. And Kalia Smith would like to know, do you need to do the affidavit if you rent in a house or just if you rent in a building?
If you rent in a building, if you are renting out of a house, you still need your landlord to give you a letter, a notarized letter that you can present to the parking authority, just to say that you do reside at that particular property. You also will need a copy of your insurance, a copy of your registration, and your license. Your license should also have the address to which you are trying to get the permit for. So if you live in one place, that's where your license should reflect, along with your insurance and your registration, and that way the parking authority can help you, can assist you in getting an overnight parking permit.
Okay. And Deborah Thomas would like to know, what's the procedure for guest overnight parking?
Another great question, and we are currently working on that. We are trying to get, we want it to be more technology friendly, and so there are a lot of proposed plans for the visitors parking. The mayor is of the mindset that we go back to what we used to do. Right now, people are able to park on the street without a permit up until November. But if you do have guests, feel free, give us a call. We will then, call the police department and let them know where you're parking at, who your guest is. We would need the make and model of that car. We don't want East Orange residents to think that that's going to be like a norm that you can continuously do, after we get into the permit parking, and people just constantly say, there's visitors parking. Right now City Hall is not open for people to come in and buy visitors parking passes, but starting, January, we will probably go back to, coming in, you're able to come in and purchase the visitors parking permit. But there is a plan for that, so yes.
Okay, last one from Melody.
Okay.
Dwayne Davis wants to know, if you get a ticket, how do you pay the ticket if the court building is closed?
Oh, you can pay online. You can definitely pay online. And if you're contesting the ticket, you could plead not guilty, just like you would with any other ticket. They are having Zoom court, so they are available to assist you. But you can pay for your tickets online, yes.
And thank you, Melody, for that, and thank you, Connie. But I just want to let the public know, even though City Hall is not physically where you can come in, we are open for business. All our departments are functioning. If you call City Hall, you're going to get a live voice. So even though the public can't come in right now because of the executive order from our governor, but we are still conducting business every day from 8:30 to 4:30. You can call and someone should assist you. So we just wanted to put that out in the air that we're open. Connie, do we have anything for our chief?
Actually, we have a few for Chief Indy. Fran Ashby says that people she believes that people who blast their radio while waiting at the traffic light should get tickets or warning. Is there something that can be done when people are in their cars blasting their radio?
Yes, they do, and that's an excellent question. We have a zero tolerance for that. If you are at a light and you do hear that, please call it in and try to obtain the plate safely if you can. But we have given summonses for that, and it's in the ordinance, and we will continue to do that. Thank you.
And then, kind of in the same vein, Shirley McClinton Watson wants to know what's being done about sports cars with loud mufflers revving their engines up and down Munn Avenue right near the police department. And she's actually asked this question several times.
Okay. I will put a detail out for that, specifically for that, but we have issued numerous summonses for that, and we will continue to issue the summonses for that. Again, we will put a detail out for that if it is specific to Munn Avenue.
Now, I've got one for you, Mayor Green.
Yes.
From Aria Jimenez. She says that U-Haul trucks and big USPS trucks fly through Morse all the time. There's a lot of high speeding down Renshaw right in front of Speed Academy. There needs to be speed bumps. Who does she reach out to about this?
Tell her to reach out to, and great question. We are looking around the city in terms of speed bumps, but also our chief is here, and I'm gonna give her an opportunity to answer that concern also. But please reach out to our director of DPW, Chris Cope. His telephone number is 973-266-5330, or call our Chief of Staff, Tony Jackson, 973-266-5151. And we have our chief here also, because I'm going to ask her to elaborate on that question and that concern also about the speed and
Okay.
the speed bumps.
Can we have the street again, please?
Morse.
Morrison, okay. So what we will do is I will take that information down as soon as we leave this meeting, and I will put something in place to curtail the speeding.
Thank you for that, Chief. Any other comment?
We do have a few more.
Okay, then let's take
This
them.
one goes back to parking. Deborah Thomas wants to know, is there a special fee just for overnight parking? And how many nights are allowed?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean when you say a special fee for overnight parking. There's a residential parking permit that's $150 a year. There's also visitor parking that is $6 per night. So you can buy as many of them as you would like. So yes, so that's what the fee amount is. So other than that, there is no other fee. The $150 and the $6. Yes.
Connie?
And then for Chief Bendy, Elizabeth Broughton Allen would like to know, are four-wheelers street legal?
No, they are not. All-terrain vehicles, ATVs, they are not. They're very dangerous. Please, if you see them in your area, please, I encourage you to call the police department. There's not much we can do as far as pursuing them. We do attempt to try and pull them over. That's all we can do. It is very extremely dangerous to try and pursue these vehicles. There have been inordinate amount of deaths throughout the county and state this year.
And Chief, and I'm glad you said how dangerous it is in terms of those SUVs, right? Those kind of motorcycles, whatever they are. But tell people why it's dangerous. Because most people will say, well, Mayor, the police need to go after these people. Tell them why we cannot chase those type of cars and the reason. You just gave the reason.
Well, yeah,
but,
first of all, there's Attorney General guidelines specific to that. Number one. Number two, they easily tip. They can injure someone else, a pedestrian. They can go up on sidewalks with them. Again, it's an all-terrain vehicle. They can go on the grass. We cannot. It is just an extremely dangerous situation. We've had success with people calling in the plates or calling in the infraction when they call our city cameras. We can get a plate off of them, and also we've had success following them to where they are storing them or parking them, and we have towed them and confiscated them.
Thank you, Chief. Give me just a few more questions. And the reason why I'm taking quite a few questions tonight, because I know many people have been on Facebook, and then I see in the morning, Mayor, I've been on last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks. So I'm just trying to get people who are on the Facebook an opportunity to at least get their question answered.
Okay, Joy Nicole would like to know, why does she have to park in a certain ward if she's paying for a parking permit?
Well, you know, a lot of people want to be able to park where they live at, and that's the reason why we went to the residential parking permit, because we wanted people to be able, you know, to park and live all in the same area. We get a lot of complaints about there's no available parking, like you get a permit, but you still can't park, you have to park around the corner, and that's because people who purchased permits felt like because they purchased permits, they should be able to park wherever they wanted to in the city. But it you know, it kind of is not fair for the person that may live on William Street who also purchased a parking permit but can never find any place to park. So it's kind of twofold. Like, I paid for a parking permit and I still can't find anywhere to park. So we went toward specific with that, and we wanted to make sure that people purchasing permits had the opportunity to park as close to their home as possible. So that was the safe and secure parking. That was the second aspect of it. So more specific, but you know, we're asking people, if you buy a parking permit and you live, because the parking permit is supposed to be for where you live. You know, we thought it would make sense to people, if you were buying a parking permit for your residence, that you would be parking where you live at.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you. Kind of give me just a few more.
So, well, this is a good one that once you answer it, you can start to go to your updates, because you're probably going to talk a little bit more about this. Is there a voting ballot drop box in front of City Hall? Yes, it is. There's a voting ballot drop box in front of City Hall, directly in front of City Hall. Yes, it is. It's going to be there until after the election. It's been there for a while. So we are located at 44 City Hall Plaza, right in front of City Hall. The drop box is there, yes. And if you go to Essex County Clerk's office, it'll also give you where the other drop boxes are located throughout Essex County. But there are and is a drop box in front of City Hall. Okay.
That's it?
More?
One more, just one more. Then we're gonna close out.
Okay. What if I'm just the driver of the car and the car owner doesn't live with me?
If you're just the driver of the car?
I guess in terms of being able to show the residents and the identification, so.
Well, no, well, we need people, if, you know, if you have a relative that's visiting you, and, you know, they don't necessarily live on your property or live with you, and they want to park overnight, that would be considered a visitor's parking overnight. But for people, you know, if you're trying to get a residential parking permit, we need for your information to match up. So if you live on Carnegie Avenue, let's just say, then your license should say Carnegie Avenue, your registration should say Carnegie Avenue. All your information has to match up. If you live in an apartment building and, you know, you can't for some reason get an affidavit from your landlord, you know, let us know. We'll try to help you out with that. But for the most part, we need people to have their information be the exact same information on their driver's license, showing that you are an East Orange resident. And that's the reason why you are being, you know, allowed to obtain a residential parking permit. The residential parking permits are for the residents of the city of East Orange and not for people, you know, that's just coming to visit. So it is twofold. A visitor's parking is visitor's parking. A residential parking permit is for a resident of the city of East Orange.
Thank you very much for that, ma'am. Just one more time, then we're going to close out.
Many of these are comments, really.
Okay, I mean, that's good. So listen, those who are on our Facebook page, those who are on YouTube, you know, we try to have these meetings within an hour. Those who didn't get their question or their concern or had an issue answered, please call my office at 973-266-5151. As for Justin Brown or as for Aja Baldwin, we're going to do our best to make sure we get back to you with your question, with your concern or issue that you had tonight. I personally want to thank all of you for joining us, but I also want to really thank the panel that's here tonight. They provided a lot of information, and we wanted to kind of like dig into this parking issue that we've been having, but also want to really thank Melody for really spearheading our parking initiative, and it hasn't been an easy task for her because, you know, it's not an easy task. As we said, this is a 30-year situation and problem that we've been having here in the city of East Orange, where other mayors, and it's not knocking them, did not want to take on this task, did not want to dig into it. In this administration, we've done that. So Melody has been spearheading this parking. And listen, we still got little kinks, but we want to personally thank her for that, along with Tony Jackson and our DPW department, our police department, the parking authority. Everybody had to make sure that this was a joint effort and making sure, as I always say, to making sure that we keep our streets safe, clean, and make sure people, when they park at night, the cars are safe. So it was a joint effort, and I thank all of you. What I want to do before I close out, I just want to go around to my panel, if they have any closing remarks or any comments very quickly, and then we're going to close out with a few, you know, advertisement or, you know, some public announcements that we have, some things that we have going on around the city. So we're going to start with Melody. Do you want to close out with something that you want to leave the residents? And then we're going to go to Chief Bindi. Then we go to Victor Uche.
I just want to thank the mayor for the opportunity to work on this parking initiative. I'm born and raised here in the city of East Orange, so it's a privilege for me to have to come back home and be able to have an opportunity to work in the city that I was born and raised in. So I don't take that for granted. So for all of you out there that have questions or concerns about parking or anything else, you know, I'm in the mayor's office. You can feel free to reach me, 973-266-5151, extension 5355. And if there's any questions regarding the parking that you still are not clear on or permit, please, again, feel free to call me, you can email me, and I will definitely get back to you and make sure that whatever concerns or questions you have do get answered in a timely manner. Thank you, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Melody.
Thank you. I would like to thank everyone, Mayor, if you don't mind, through the COVID-19 and through everything that's going on in the world today. I would like to personally, from the bottom of my heart, thank our community for standing behind their police department, standing behind public safety. We stand with you, you stand with us. That is community engagement, that is community partnership. Again, we implore you to please continue to fill out our community wellness surveys. It is our report card and it is our best way to address your quality of life issues and or crime issues if you have it. Continue to be our extra set of eyes and ears on the street. We need you. Stay engaged in our community activities and stay focused and embrace all of our prevention flyers. I know as we did this, we can conquer just about everything, maximize our department's effectiveness in reducing crime, and maximize our overall crime and quality of life issues. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chief. Really appreciate that and the information you provide. Vic, Tay.
I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm going to repeat again, once again, that we want you all to be safe and healthy. Please, as you go out, put on your face mask and put your face mask on properly to cover your nose. Also, please maintain social distance guidelines. It's very, very important. Finally, please get vaccinated against influenza. It's not a choice this time. It's very imperative that we do this. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Vic. And again, to all of you who have been watching and still watching us on the telephone lines, I just want to give you some updates on some things that, events that will be taking place right here in our city. And we always say everybody's welcome to join us in whatever we are partaking in. But again, it's with safetyness and it's with social distance. We're having a citywide cleanup. We're having a citywide cleanup here in the city of East Orange. So we're asking everybody to be a part of it, right? Get your block together, again, social distance. We are going to be in front of City Hall on October the 24th. You come and you pick up your materials, your broom, your bags, your gloves, and we're asking everybody, again, in social distance, get on your block if it's something that you need to clean up. If you're a store owner, clean up in front of the store. If you're a tenant, because you play such a vital role in our community also, come out and join in our citywide cleanup here in the city of East Orange on October 24th. Help keep our city clean and green. Also, I want to talk about our October 30th. We're having, because we know this year with the pandemic, trick-or-treating, we really don't advise anyone to trick-or-treat, but we're leaving that up to the homeowner. If they want to open their doors, it's fine, but we're encouraging everybody to kind of be very careful with that. We are offering what we call a drive-in movie right in back of East Orange Campus High School. That's 344 Prospect. You can drive in. We're going to show some scary movies. We're going to have some folks out there, but you're in your car. You're in your car and you're safe. So again, please join us over at and behind Campus High School. Please go on our Facebook page for the number that you need to call because we want to know who's coming. But again, we're going to ask everyone that is a drive-in movie. Want you to come and have a good time. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be safe and healthy. So again, we got to be very careful with the trick-or-treating this year. We normally do our Spookatron over at Elmwood Park in the haunted house. We're not doing that this year. There's a few trick-or-treats around the city. I know Councilwoman Amy Lewis is doing something, but safe and healthy in terms of the distance. So we are doing a few things around the city to make sure our young people, if they want to participate. We're not encouraging it, but if you want to. Also, please, our fire hydrant testing and fire prevention week. So please go on our Facebook page. We've been posting all types of information on how to stay safe. Also, the information on our fire hydrants, inspections throughout the city. So when the water go off, it's a little brown. Our chief been talking about what you need to do, how to run the water. Please call if you have any questions. If you see something in the water, please call 973-266-5507. That is for our fire hydrant testing and our fire prevention week. So please join us on Facebook. Also, just a reminder, East Orange Public Library is now open in-person visits by appointment. So if you need to go to the library, we are now open by appointments because we got to make sure, again, we follow all the rules and regulations of our governor in terms of keeping everybody safe. Now let me give you that number. That telephone number is 973-266-7049. And we really thank Ms. Reed for a fine job that she does each and every day. Also, don't forget about this Friday. We got our Pan-American flag raising right in front of City Hall at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. So please don't forget about the Pan-American flag raising right in front of City Hall at 5 p.m. on this Friday. You can also watch it live on Facebook at East Orange City Hall. Also, just a few more things. I know everybody ready to go. Don't forget to vote on November 3rd. We know that the ballots have been out. Please utilize the drop box in front of City Hall. Also, the census, right? Good news, the deadline for filling out the 2020 census has been extended to October 31st. Please complete the census. Come on, East Orange, we can do it. If you haven't done it, we're challenging everybody on this Facebook page tonight, everybody on YouTube. We're asking you to call up 10 of your friends for the census and for the voting. So if you call 10 of your friends and 10 of your friends call somebody and 10 of your friends call somebody, we will be very victorious here in the city of East Orange after October 31st for our census and on November 3rd for the election here in the city of East Orange. So with that, East Orange, we thank all of you really for being a part of this, our virtual meeting tonight. And as I close out East Orange, listen, we have that East Orange pride, right? And you heard a lot of information tonight from our parking to public safety to from our health department and our and from your mayor, right? So we're asking everybody to take pride in our community. We're asking everybody to really show who we really are. East Orange is a city that is rich with history and tradition, and we want people to know that that everyone is a part of what we do each and every day. So as we continue to kind of get past this COVID and this pandemic here in the city of East Orange, I just want folks to know that we don't have to feel that we have to have our city looking any kind of way. We can take pride in what we're doing. We know we're going through a pandemic. We know people are going through different things during this pandemic. But I can tell you one thing, we're doing everything we can under this administration, the Green administration, to make sure that not only provide excellent services, but we also want folks to know that we're doing everything we can to make sure that we provide help. So just go on our Facebook page and get those telephone numbers, and wherever we can help you, we want to do that. So with that, I just want to really just thank all of you for the 9 months that you have been coming. It has been a while. And thank you for being a part of what we have been doing in this city. So again, East Orange, we are one city, we are one community, we have one goal. That goal is progress. All of you are part of that progress. And I want you to wear that each and every day. And with progress, we have to take ownership of our community. So let's go, East Orange. Let's do that East Orange pride. May God continue to bless you. May God continue to bless your families. And may God continue to bless East Orange. Good night, and we'll see y'all very soon.